Sorry, you guys, I ain't been around the last couple of weeks. I've been really, really busy down there with the grand jury in Visalia, Tulare County. You guys all know I've been working for them for quite a while, for the last 2 years. Been their foreman and all, and this time of year, it really gets hectic down there. And that's why I got missed last Friday and the Friday before that. But our last show we had was a really great one. It hit up there pretty high on the monitors. In fact, we finally broke 600 on people that applies for it every day now, which is good, and our ratings getting up there past 100 on each show, which that's good too. But we need to get them up higher if we can. So I'll be coming back every other week, doing our stories and our shows with our guest, and I'm gonna try to get old Cornbread back. He played real good music for us last time at the beginning and the end. He's a character by himself, and maybe Pig come back, talk to him for a little bit. We'll see about that. But definitely Cornbread is coming back to play the song for us and all. But like I said, this week I've been really busy with that grand jury, and one of the things that keeps us really busy right now is recruiting. We are trying to get new people for next year, and so we go out, set appointments with all these clubs, and like the Lions, the Elks, and we'll go there and give a presentation about the grand jury and see if we can get some people to join. And I did a lot of it last year, but this year I thought I'd kind of kick back a little bit and not do as much as myself like I normally do. But they set me up with one already, which I really dread already. It's going to be 5:30 in the morning. I don't know why anybody would want to get at 5:30 in the morning and have breakfast and meet everybody at a club. I'd wait till at least got daylight. But that's what they're going to do. It's the only one I got to do this year. So this Wednesday, I got to get up at probably about 4 in the morning to be there by 5:30. And whew, that's going to be hard for me to do. But I'll make it. I'll pull through with it. But on the recruiting part, we need people down there really bad. And it's, for some reason, well, like every 2 years, you can work 2 years straight and you're off a year. So all of us really good guys, we're going to be off a year, but some of us will stay there because we're allowed to have 10 back over, which gives the people the experience to show the other people what to do. And it really is very interesting. You can be there and just be 18 years old, a resident of Tulare County, be there, live there for a year, no felons. And really, that's about all it takes to get on the grand jury. We need to know how to write and read and speak English, and you got it made. And the pay is not all that great, but you get paid mileage, and you get paid a little stipend. And the best thing of it, though, is none of that. All of us that's been on there, it's the thrill that you get into. I mean, the investigations we do, the complaints we get. I mean, you wouldn't believe behind the scenes stuff that goes on with a grand jury. And we can't go out and talk about it because we're all sworn to secrecy in there. So we can't mention other people's names or nothing like that until it comes out on a report. And then the only thing we can talk about is the report, nothing else. But it's you go in there, it gets into your blood. It's like a hound dog. That's why they call us the watchdogs, bulldogs of Tulare County. Because, we get a complaint on somebody, and we take it really serious. I mean, we'll go after it. We don't care who they are. If it's the chief of police, the DA, or whoever, we don't care. I mean, we go after them like everybody else. We're not prejudiced on anything. We treat them all the same. I don't care who they are. But if you want some good excitement, go to the Tulare County Courthouse, go up to the second floor, I believe it is, and go up there and just sign up, get an application, fill it out, send it in. And they'll be taking applications for next month and a half, I believe. And they'll have it shut off, and come July 1st, before July 1st, you'll go through some interviews and stuff like that to get on. And if you pass the interviews, your names will get sent in to the judge, and then you show up July 1st, and they'll get tossed in an old tumbler, tumbled around. Your name's picked, you're on it. And you're on it for a year. I mean, you got to get real dedicated to it when you do it. But today, I promise you guys a few stories. I got 2 or 3 today that's real good. I got One is about all you younger guys that like horses. And if you're not married yet and you're thinking about getting married, what not to do. My first wife, when I was about 19, 19 or 20 years old. I didn't get married till I was 21, so I just started getting with my girl that I was thinking I was going to marry. In fact, we did marry for about 2 years, and she's getting put up with me no more, I guess. Well, because I've just been a cowboy, no cowboy all my life. And one day we was at my mom and dad's house, and so I tried to get her interested in riding. For, she'd be like me, she'd go out ride, trail rides, and go with me and have a good time. And one day I talked her out doing it, and I said, man, I've got it nice now, and I picked the best horse we had for her, the calmest, the tamest. And if she get on this horse, nothing could go wrong, I figured, nothing whatsoever. So we got him at the house. We was at my dad's house where we had him keeping it at the time. So we went out there, and I saddled them all up for her, got everything done where all she had to do is get on. And I took the lead, so the other horse automatically followed me. And we went on for about a 3-hour ride and really enjoyed herself, just walking down the ditch banks, talking and everything else. I mean, two people in love at that time, and no matter what you did, you had a good time. But when it got kind of weird, we started coming back. And this horse I had her on has never done this before in its lifetime. So I don't really know what happened. But we started coming back, and we got down back where this ditch was. And the horse could see the house. And once it seen that house, that horse took off 90 miles an hour. I mean, it took off, and she started screaming and yelling, rocking all over the horse. Oh, my God. I said, she is going to fall off, hit that concrete, and kill herself. Man, I goosed my old horse up trying to catch up there if I can get a hold of her or something. But I never could get caught quite up there. And anyway, the horse decided he was in this corral. It shot through our house. And where we lived out there, there's like an island out there. Big old circle, and had these walnut trees out there. All big old branches hanging down and everything. And instead of the house there, where the kitchen was, a big old picture window out there. And my mom was standing in that picture window looking out and seeing us coming in. Then she seen that horse come through with her. She told me, oh, my God, I just knew something was going to happen bad. And sure enough, here she comes running took right through those trees. And when she did, one of the limbs hit her by the head. And as she went forward, here hung her hair in this tree limb, hanging down. And I thought, oh, man, she just got scalped. And my mom come running out of the house, screaming and yelling. And she knew she just got her hair just cut right on off. And still, when the horse still went through that part before it stopped, it got right to the fence, and it just laid on the brakes as hard as it could. And when it did, whoop, there she went. She flew over that horse's head. And there's a big old pile back there that the horses took a dump every day at. I mean, for some reason, they liked that spot. And she flew over, flop, her head went right in it. And I'm sitting there, holy moly, what am I going to do now? My mom's out there yelling, screaming, she's scalped, and I got her head buried in horse crap there. I pulled her out of there, and she had all this green stuff all over in her mouth, ears, all over. But I checked her head, and her hair was still there. I was, well, you didn't get scalped. And come to find out, she had one, you girls probably remember way back there in the 60s. You guys, they all wore these falls. They'd add onto the hair, really make them look longer, thicker. Well, when she hit that tree limb, it got that fall and pulled it off. So it looked like it scalped her. And my mom, I mean, she almost had a heart attack over it. I mean, she almost fainted when she first seen it happen. When she went underneath that tree, and all she seen was hair hanging there. But I was able to see a little bit more the way she was walking back and forth on that horse. That, it didn't take her head off or nothing. But I was wondering it didn't break her neck when she went in there. Anyway, when we came and I got her out of there and I got the horse put up, and oh man, you think somebody mad? You wouldn't believe how mad she was. I mean, I thought she was going to kill me. She picked up a stick, started beating me with it. Don't you ever get me on a horse, you dumb cowboy. Rawr, 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 rawr. Really yakking at me and chewing my butt out. And I'm sitting there, what I did, I can't help it. The horse did what it did. And finally, I calmed her down. My mom came out and calmed her down a little bit and got her inside the house, got her cleaned up. And after that, though, she would never, never get on another horse. I'd bring a horse out, she'd run in the other direction. And she got so bad about horses, in fact, she had me sell them before we got married. She made me sell all my horses, get rid of them, and said, we're moving down to L.A. where they don't have horses and cowboys down there. And I'm thinking, well, I guess she's going to try to take the old cowboy out of me. And so we moved down south. And after about 2 years, though, she didn't quite take the old cowboy out of me. It still hung in there with me, and eventually got divorced, moved back to Visalia, California, or Tulare. Well, we got a little bit to go here, and I'm going to take a break. And I got a commercial coming up, so we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. I'll catch you guys later and finish the rest of the stories. Well, welcome back. Commercial's all done now. Back to the story where I got divorced. Like I said, she tried to take the cowboy out of the cowboy, and it didn't work. And besides that, I think her mom never did like me. She always told her I'd never amount to nothing, even though I was working 3 jobs down there to support her. And we had a little girl at the time, and so I worked my little hiney off, make sure they have what they wanted, but I think she's a little high maintenance, probably. Because I know her mom was very high maintenance. And she kept telling her daughter that she should be married to some guy, a pilot or doctor or something like that, but not this old cowboy. So eventually she took off, and I came home one day and there was a roll of toilet paper sitting there, and it had a note on it. It says, "You're going to need this." And I looked around, there was nothing in that whole house. I got home. Never knew it was coming or nothing. They just sideswiped me. So, well, life's life. And off I took off back home, back to Tulare, Fresno, where I moved back to. Got up here for a while, and that's where I met my second wife. And it's another one. She knew I was a hard, stubborn cowboy, but with her, she hung with it. So we've been married for 42 years. So she's been trying to change me for 42 years, and she hasn't managed it at all. And she thought she had it made there for a while with me, because my horses, I quit roping and everything because I figured I was getting kind of old for it. I better settle down a little bit and do something else, for fun that's more safer. My dad was bugging me to quit riding them horses, that one of these days I was going to get hurt real bad, and at my age, around 60 at the time, I think, or 62, when this happened, when I quit roping and riding horses there for a while. But he told me, go find another interest, my dad did. So I did. I went out, looked around, see what I wanted to do, and I bought me some motorcycle. And oh boy, you don't think that thing hit the fan on that. I mean, my dad, what in the world? You get something more dangerous than what you had. And I tried to tell him, no, Dad, this thing is not as dangerous. I said, when I'm riding that horse, I got my brain to think about and that horse to think about. He's got his own brain, so he's thinking his way and I'm thinking my way. And we got to put them two brains together to go one way. I said, hey, on this motorcycle, it's just my brain. So whatever my brain tells me, that's what we do. That motorcycle will do it. He ain't going to argue with me. But still, he hated that motorcycle. And my wife, oh, man, she thought I was really crazy, which I was. That day I got it, I went out to buy some fencing. That's what I went out to do. And the guy where I was getting the fencing from, he wasn't there, so he called me up and said I'd be there about an hour. And I was sitting there, there's this Honda dealer right next to his place. I said, I'll go over there and look at these bikes and stuff and just see what they look like. And I got looking in there and then came across this little Honda Shadow. I mean, it looked nice. I thought it was kind of set low, handlebars up high. I said, man, that would be cool to have. And got talking to the guy, and he said, man, I can set you up right with it today. No money down, about $30 a month. No kidding. I said, just sign me up for that little booger then. And I bought that little thing. And this guy must have thought I knew how to ride a bike, which I didn't. Never rode a bike in my life. I got out on that motorcycle, and I didn't know where first, second, or third, or nothing was. I had to take off, and I mean, oh man, I was a mess for about the first 3-4 miles. And finally I got it figured out, 1 down, 3 back on the little bugger. And then it got a lot easier for me, but I told myself, hey, I'm gonna go to school for this motorcycle, but I can ride it right. So I called around, and the Highway Patrolman, they put on this one school. And pretty rough school, I come to find out. I mean, they had different schools out there. I just picked the wrong one. Because these guys, when I got out there with these guys on these motorcycles, they had these old motorcycles, looked like they'd been beat up, and wrecked 2 or 3 times, and that's what you was riding. And they taught you how to take curves, how to shift, and how to pass, all the laws about a bike, this and that, and how to brake, and what you should do, and what to look for. I mean, all that was pretty cool. But then it come to when we did the test, you had to, 2 things, I mean, it scared the crap out of you. I mean, what if you get on a bike, and you had to get up to 60 miles an hour, and they had this big old block wall there, and they had a line out here, and when you hit that line, you had to be at 60 miles an hour and hit your brakes at the same time. And you had to hit both brakes, but the training was for it. Make sure you hit both brakes at the same time, because if you hit one of them at that speed, you'd flip over, crash, and burn. Anyway, I did it right apparently, because I hit my brakes and just slid right into that, real close to that wall. I mean, my front wheel, it hit it when I stopped, just ding a little bit past that. But the second one on that test was really rough. You had to get going a certain speed. There, I think it was something like 45 miles an hour. Then you had to come up and lay that bike down and slide with it. I thought no way. And there's like 10 of us that started this school. When they got down to those last deals, there's only 2 of us left taking the test. This dumb old cowboy and this other old guy that he had no more brains than I had, I guess, because he hung right in there. But we both did it. We both laid them bikes down here and slid with it. And with me, it paid off later. For me, it probably saved my life more than once, on that bike. I had a few close calls. Because I know right when I first got it, as soon as I finished that school, I was down driving in Visalia down there and going on Walnut, and strange events occurred that you couldn't believe. I mean, you couldn't even think this up. Way in front up here, there's a truck up there that had his bed tailgate down. It had a 50-gallon drum of something on it. Anyway, he hit the car in front of him, car pulled out in front of him. He hit his brakes. When he hit his brakes, that 55-gallon drum flew off his truck, came back, hit the truck behind him, and they slammed down their brakes. And next thing you know, here's people hitting their brakes. And me, I'm coming down the road, and here I'm looking at the signal light, and it was green, but I look to my right, and here comes this car. I mean, he's going 90 miles an hour. And I go, that guy's going to run that light. And here's these cars backed up over here. I only had so far to go, and I couldn't go backwards. And if I stayed right as that, this guy's going to smack me head on. So I gunned that old bike as hard as I could. And when I came up on 2 wheels and came back down, when I came back down, the truck was right there. It meant I had to drop that bike down, and I slid underneath that truck. Oh, everybody thought I was creamed. And they come running around there, and they pulled me out of underneath the truck, then got the bike out from underneath the truck. And just lucky I knew how to lay one down. And the second thing, I had highway bars on. And if it wasn't for that, I would have got all messed up. But all I got out, I got one little scratch on my elbow, and that was it. And it messed up my pegs on my bike a little bit, because when I rode it home, I had to jigger around it, and only go in like 3rd gear to make it home. But I got it home, changed the parts out myself, fixed it myself. Turned out pretty neat, but without going to that school, I would never known how to do it. And with that school, I find out later that that was the advanced class that I took, and I wonder why it cost me $400 and something to take that class. And everybody else was telling me their class was only costing them 100 and 150. But the 150 class, you just did a little basics, what you knew to get your license, and that was it. You didn't have to go through all that murder me and this other kid went through. I mean, boy. But if I had to do it over again, I think I'd take it that way, because I mean, it learned me a lot what to do on that. And even I had cars pull right out on me, and just out of nowhere. But your reactions from that training that you went through for a week, I mean, it was a week long every day. You react automatically so fast that you don't get run over. And the ones that usually get, all the ones you hear about getting killed, them are them guys that never went to training, nothing on them, just got their motorcycle license, and they get them. We called them zippers. They go zipping down the road about 100 miles an hour, passing in center lane on cars and everything else. And somebody pulls out in front of them, here they're going 100 miles an hour, and bang, off they go, flowing over, and they all get killed. And they wonder, well, why? Why? Because one thing, you're driving down the middle of the lane, you shouldn't do it, even though it's not against the law. Somebody just got to open their door up or stick their arm out the window and knock you down. I mean, I've been sitting at a light, another car next to me one time, it really kind of cracked me up. Because we were sitting there and watching for the light to turn, and I get this guy behind us, way down the wall. He knew it was going to change, apparently, because he came flying through there and went right between me and him both. Scared me to death, because he came out of nowhere, and it scared this guy over there, because he just jumped up in his old truck. And he looked at me and said, well, boy, because I'll tell you what, you're going to live longer than he is. And I think he's about right. That guy's probably crashed by now the way he was going at that. But them guys on them zippers, and they don't watch what they're doing for some reason. They're young kids, and they just go when you're better off. If you're going to buy a motorcycle, I think, get one to cruise. Take your time, see the scenery, obey the laws, none of this cutting into the middle stuff, because that's just way too dangerous. I don't know why they don't make that a law for you can't do that, and where we'd have to drive like regular people. But they don't, and so, people take advantage of it. I tried it one time, and it just scared me to death. Because if I moved 1 inch the wrong way, I would hit a car. And old as I am, you're not that steady. Like when you're young, you'll get the shakes a little bit, and, it kind of worries you a little bit. But boy, my recommendation, if you buy a motorcycle like I did, go to school, pay that extra money, get that extra training. And I'll tell you what, you'll live another year and another day to talk about it. So we got another commercial coming up here right here, and I'll be right back to you in about 5 minutes.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
All right, welcome back. Commercial's all done, and get back talking to our story. Where we was at that driving them motorcycles, and in between that and horses, and I did have a lot of fun on them motorcycles, but I still missed them horses for some reason on that. And I even went as far on motorcycles. One day I was driving this Honda. It was a little Honda I bought. It was a little Honda, Honda 650 Shadow is what it was. And after I drove for a while, it just didn't seem big enough. I felt like a midget on there or something. Anyway, I charity it all out. I put all the chrome on it. I probably spent $3,000 on it and put different seats on, backing, you name it, I had it on there to make my life a little bit easier going down the road. Well, anyway, I was taking a trip one day going on a motorcycle run up by down 41. And on my way up there, I seen these big banners, balloons, and all these people off there. Kind of looked down off the freeway, and I said, I'll go down and see what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of people down there. I said, man, something must be going on pretty big. So got off at, I think it was Manning, someplace on there. Got off the road, came back around. No, Jensen. It was Jensen when I got off at. Because I got up there and came back down, and there's another motorcycle place there. And what they're doing, they had a big sale on these motorcycles. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these motorcycles, and man, they had some gorgeous ones. And they weren't too cheap either, the ones they had there, but they had, the prices was almost knocked in half. Because normally they had this one like for $21,000. You was able to get it that day if you bought it that day for $10,000. I go, man, that's a big difference. And some of these already had the chrome all on it. You didn't have to do nothing to it. Just get it and go. And I got in there and looking at this one I kind of liked. I said, man, I should like to have that one right there. It's like an 1800. And and there's these two other guys over there with the salesman arguing with each other about this bike. You know, this one guy, he talked about, no, he wanted it. This guy, no, he wanted it. But they didn't know for sure if they'd come down on the price anymore, or this and that, or if they'd add this to it. But they're arguing back and forth, back and forth. So I found another salesman. I said, well, take me to buy that bike over there. And he said, well, $10,000 or put it on your credit card. I said, well, my kind of credit cards, I don't know if I can put them on there or not. He goes, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get you a Honda card. So he called me in a Honda card real quick, and I got a limit on it up to $30,000. And I go, whoa, that's kind of nice of it. And these people out there, they're still arguing over this motorcycle, too. So meanwhile, I get on the phone. I call my son up. Hey, how'd you like to buy that motorcycle I got? One right now. He goes, oh, yeah, I love it. Save me on gas, this and that. I said, okay, you buy that from me because I want you to make sure you buy it now because I'm going to buy this other motorcycle. He goes, oh, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. So I go over there and get the salesman. We go in there and make our deal, get it all wrote up. And as we come out of the office, hear these two guys still arguing over that bike. And I walked up there and said, sorry, boys, it's my bike. And you got to see their old face drop, just hit the ground. So I got on it. I took it to the cruise up to Fresno to the ride I was going on to. And they shipped my bike. I had a guy taking it on a truck or something back to my house and drop it off. And here I come home that night on that new bike. Oh, you think, I mean, I caught stuff you wouldn't believe from my wife. Over and over. In fact, still to this day, she does this, and this has been 9 years ago, and she still brings that bike up to me about having to, you just can't have one of something, you got to have two. And my son, he backed out on me on buying that bike. You know, he drove it for about a month. When I come to make the payment on it, he said, oh, Dad, I don't want it. I don't need no bike. And so he gave it back to me. So now I ride both of them around, and every time my wife looks at them, she yells at me about them. They're taking up space in the garage, this and that. Can't do that and horses both. And see, in between time, I bought these two horses. And, oh, man, I think I keep her mad all the time lately anymore, no matter what I do. You know, I try to do good. I just these stupid little things I do. Like that on them horses. The horse is real cheap. And I liked the horse, the way it looked. My granddaughter's with me, and she wanted, that's where I started out. She wanted a horse for her birthday. So I said, you find one real cheap. If it's a good horse, I'll buy it for you on your birthday. Well, come her birthday, she sure enough found one in the right price. The price was like $500, and it's a big old gray up in Clovis. So we go up and look at this old big old horse, and I asked the owner, why is the price down so low? And he goes, well, that horse bucks all the time. You're kidding. He goes, no, I got to get out there and work him 30 minutes in a circle before we even get on him. This and that. And my wife, she just won't ride him anymore because she got on him and he bucked and knocked her in the head, I guess, and almost knocked her out. And I said, well, for $500, I said, the horse is only 5 years old. So he's got a lot of learning he could do. So I went ahead and bought him for her and took him home. Rode him about 3 weeks myself. And he bucked a few little times, but not much. He threw me off one time, and then it was my fault. I was just sitting on him, and I didn't have my legs in the stirrups or nothing. They just sitting there relaxed, talking to my neighbor. All of a sudden, that horse just kicked it away and ended up, when he did, I went right over his head, but I landed on my feet. But the impact went like that, and man, I was gimpy for about 3 weeks on that, from that horse doing that to me. But then I took it up to the mountains a lot, rode it up there. about 3 trips up that mountain, it did him in. After that, no more bucks, no more nothing. Now my granddaughter gets on him, rides him anytime he wants to. And my wife is happy with that horse. She said he's okay now. But as we went along, my granddaughter got where she said, Grandpa, that horse is more like your horse. You ride him more than I do, this and that. And I need another horse of my own. Dang, here I go again. So she found one for $200. Well, we'll go look at it. And so we went up and looked at it, and I looked at it, and I didn't like it. In fact, everything in my bones told me, don't buy this horse. Yet she talked me into it, and we loaded up. Loaded up in the horse trailer. I had a hard time getting in the horse trailer. Didn't want to get in. And the people sort of, oh, he'd never done that before. We ride him all the time. This horse is so good, this and that. And his horse is, he said, about 10 years old. I said, 10 years old? He's acting kind of ornery. But later on, I found out the horse is only 3. They lied about his age to us. And they said they rode him all the time. Well, they didn't ride him all the time. Now, me and that horse went round and around. In fact, every weekend, my neighbors all come out, get lawn chairs, and sit out across where the fence was, and where I was at from my pasture. And me and this horse would get out there, go round and around. I mean, I'd try to get the saddle on that horse, man. That horse would run from me side to side, if I could hardly get him on. And finally, I built me a little stall where he couldn't do that. I could slap that saddle on him, try to break him out of that habit. And then I broke him from about everything there was, except one thing. And I still ain't got him broke from that. You go to tie him off, he freaks out. He starts pulling the rope hard as he can back, and he'll flip over on his butt and just lay there till you kick him up. Get back up there. Finally, I found out the only way instead of tying him down, you have to just drop the rope, and he's okay. The only thing bad about him now, my granddaughter rides him all the time now. But man, I took a lot of work for that horse, and my wife still hates that horse and don't trust that horse. And I don't either, because he's got part Arabian in him, and much about people don't know much about horses, but the Arabian, they're high-spirited horses. They stick their tail up in the air, and they really got a mind of their own. I mean, I had one for that when the kids was real little, about 3, 4 years old. My daughter, at that time, picked one out. First time I learned about Arabians. And this old Arabian, he'd go down an old ditch bank, and just out of nowhere, he'd make a fast left or fast right, or hit his brakes out of nowhere. No warning, no nothing. And when he makes this fast left, everybody went right, fell off of to the right, go right, to fall off to the left. So he just got so bad, I just knew he was going to hurt somebody, and I tried and tried, and I just couldn't get it out of him. So I finally just, instead of taking him at that time, instead of taking him to the selling him, they bought him for dog food. And that's where I'd never do it, but that horse, he went for dog food. I didn't want him out there hurting nobody else, so I got rid of him. When my daughter was young, and better replaced him with better horses as we went, and so our whole family grew up with horses most of our life. So we all really enjoy them, or I do, but my wife don't. And well, she did for a while. We really good, and she kind of loped with him a little bit, trotted, and we walked with him. We did about everything you think except really get with it and run. And so after we stopped. We had lunch a little bit and got ready to go out. And I got her saddle, checked it all up, make sure everything's all okay. And she's on it. And we all got on our horses and told her, well, we're going to do some running. She goes, oh, okay, no big deal. I can hang on to this horse. He's so smooth. He's this and that. I said, now, Becky, see that horn there? It's there for a reason. When we take off, you put one hand on that horn and hold on. Because if you don't, you might be sitting on the ground. Sure enough, man, I goosed my old horse to go, man. Bang, all of it. We shut off like a bullet. In fact, Socks shot off like a bullet, too. And Socks passed us all. Then we looked back. Here's my wife sitting on the ground back there, yelling and screaming at us.
blaming it on me. It's your fault you took off like that. I'll never get back on a horse again. Load these horses up right now and go home. We're going to sell this horse. We're going to, I mean, oh, man. It took me 2 weeks to calm her down before I keep my horses. 'Cause she was so mad because she fell and sitting there on the ground. But there's horses out there to do that to you real easy. I mean, some of them, they got some power. I mean, when I was roping, I had a couple of horses, buckskin, to leave you on the ground before you know it. And, not yet. It's almost here time for a commercial. I don't see the time. So when they tell me the time, then we'll quit. But right now, we're getting to the old buckskin. I had this old buckskin that this one guy, he just thought he was top dog. And roping and everything and riding. He'd brag, there ain't a horse around here that leave me on the ground and so, Because every time I came out with him, I'd grab the horn with one hand. I'd have to hold my rope. And I'd grab the horn with one hand. Then another rope out here and rings, more or less almost in my mouth, but I'd have them tighten in there a little bit. And boom, off we'd go. And finally one day, he talked me into getting on that horse. And I said, okay, Jeff, you get on it, but hey, I don't want you whining and crying about it. I mean, you get hurt or anything like that, turn around and sue me. So I went and got me a piece of paper and wrote on there, said, hey, you're riding this horse at your own risk. I made him sign it. He said, you're crazy on this, Charlie. This horse ain't that fast. I said, okay, you'll see. So he got in there, and he said all up in there, oh, yeah, let's go. He spurred that horse, which I never had to do. Because he went out fast enough without spurring. And he spurred that horse, and off he took off. Jeff, he said, I will never hold a horse as long as I live. I said, well, I guess you won't ride this horse as long as you live either. So that ended that. So just take 5 minutes here for a commercial. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back. Commercial's all done and over with again. I'm back here. I think since we've been talking horses stuff, I was thinking about going another direction here, but since we're on horses, I'm going to stick to another story about this horse or this game we used to play. All of us would get together and like people talk about if they get an old cowboy that tells you he's never fell off a horse, he's not a cowboy. Or he hasn't rode very much. Because if you're a cowboy and you ride a lot, I guarantee you are going to fall or something's going to happen and you are going to get thrown. I mean, it just is going to happen. And sometimes I've been out to a bar when I was younger, the guys with a brand new cowboy hat on, and John Travolta was hot with that rhinestone cowboy. Everybody wanted to be a cowboy. And you get out there talking to them and they tell them, oh yeah, I rode horses all my life, but I've one's never thrown me. Never fell off a horse. And as soon as they say that, you know he's lying through the drawers because it's going to happen if you ride a lot. And I've been on the ground quite a few times. And there's one time we all got together, went to Shaver Lake up there. And what we did, a bunch of us go up there, and they got a lot of good trails up there, for the day ride. And we'd go up there and we'd play tag. And we'd just shoot off through the woods, one guy'd be it, and then the rest of us would get like a minute head start. And the guy in the rear, his horse fast enough, you got to come up there and tag you, and then you take off, and you got to find another guy. You know how tag works, just the same way. But up there in the woods, you got to be real careful. Because, you got ditches that you got to jump over, logs you're jumping over. You get all kind of stuff in your way. And every time we go up there and we play this game, 2 or 3 of us already got banged up, because we'd get caught by surprise when we were jumping a log or something, and when we'd go over, we'd go over the other way. Or sometimes you'd come to a creek of water, and if your horse wasn't used to water, which we had some that wasn't, they just hit the brakes. All they had. And when you're playing this tag, you're not holding on to no horn or nothing. You just got the rings in your hands and your feet in the stirrups. And, and you're just going out fast. You can go, that horse will go. And I got tagged to be it. And I took off and did a few jumps. And on these logs and almost fell off a couple of times. And I tagged the other guy. Then I took off like a bat, man, fast as I could get away. So I said, man, I don't want to be it again because it's just too hard on your body, you know, hitting those bumps, doing all that fast running to get caught up. So I goofed up on this one part, and I had my head trapped, turned my head back to see where they were. And there's one time I turned my head back, I got my head knocked off. A big old limb was out there, and it caught me upside of my head and knocked me on that ground. Goofy, oh boy. You think about something hurt, you just sit there, tears in your eyes, not wanting to cry for other people to know, you know, bad you're hurt. And oh, I mean, my old jaw swollen up, my eye turned black. I mean, it boogered me up real good. Needless to say, that was one of my last days. I played tag up there at Shaver Lake anymore. I mean, I learned from that when I said, no, this game just not suited right for me, man. And when I turned around and get clobbered out of nowhere. But then when we always went up and do this, we took this dog with us. And he's I can't think of what kind of breed he was. But he was a big dog, real big dog. And this girl gave him to my dad. My dad sent him to all this training. Rottweiler, that's what he was, Rottweiler. And he was real big. I mean, he was huge. And because this girl, friend of ours, she bred him. And for some reason, the one she bred was huge. I mean, they make these regular Rottweilers around here. We have in the valley look like midgets. Anyway, he got this big old moose, and that dog would just love going riding with us. Wherever we go, that dog would follow. And he just loved being around horses. I mean, you'd go home, you didn't wonder where that dog was. All you had to do is go out to the barn. He's right there laying with the horses. I mean, that dog just loved horses. It'd beat all I ever seen. I mean, he had a hard time just keeping that horse in your backyard, or the horse, but the dog in the backyard. Because, I mean, he just wanted to go out there with those horses. And finally, you know, so we just let him do it at the end, you know. Hey, what the heck, you know, that's what he likes, let him do it. And he'd sleep out there all night with the horses and come in the daytime like he's watching them, you know, like I'm guarding my dogs here. But this dog had one bad habit. He would just go around and back up on everything and just poop. No matter what it was, he just be going down a trail. I bet he had pooped 7 times within a mile. He had to stop and poop on everything. And there's one day we were up at, I think, Huntington Lake, back in there. We were trail riding back in there. And here he went with us, you know, and he's watching all the horses, but he's going up front, pooping on all the flowers and all this. And finally, one day, when we was about halfway, we got back. We were going to lake back in there to fish what we was going to do. And we got about halfway back in there. And the dog is ahead of us. And there's just some big old flowers that they had up there. It looked like sunflowers, but they weren't. But anyway, this dog backs up, takes a poop on this flower. And I guess in this flower had all the meat bees in there. And them little meat bees grabbed a hold of that dog by his butt and just bit the 11th time. He just bit him all over down and around his butt. This dog jumped straight up in the air and heard a big old howl. Oh, man, what's wrong with that dog? That dog took off running, and it took us 2 hours to catch that dog. I mean, he was found by a creek, and he was sitting in the creek with his little butt being cooled off. I mean, you had to see it to believe it. It was so funny. I mean, the way that dog just sat there, and all, you know, he hunched his little legs over, or big legs down, and it just, like a torpedo, whoop, straight up in the air with a yelp. And nobody knew what for at the time. Even when we went by, we didn't even see the meat bees ourselves. So we really didn't know what happened till we caught up with him. And then we did, and he's sitting in the deal with kind of looked down, and his butt area was all swollen up in big hunks. Just, I mean, where they just took hunks of meat right out of his rear end. And then after that, it was really funny. We'd be going down the trail, and there'd be these flowers that like he used to always go over and just back up and go on them. Not no more. He'd follow us, go to those little flowers, and he'd walk up to it really sneaky, like, look, go over there and he'd hit it with his nose, make sure nothing came out of it, did it? But I mean, he had this thing, he had to poop on something. He just couldn't poop on the dirt like a normal dog would do. So he'd back up to the flower and then he'd go to the bathroom. But every time everybody would ask us the time we're going to church, what's wrong with that dog? What he's doing? He's just crawling up on that flower row, sneaking up on it over there, and, hitting it with his nose and everything to make it move. And I told him a story about how the meat bees got him, and I guess he just don't want to get bit again. I mean, because they just tore him a new rear end that day. And that old dog remembered it. And, I mean, dogs are that way. I mean, they really crack you up, but they're smart. I mean, this dog, we never had to watch our horses while we was up there. We could let them go, and that dog would keep them horses round up. And for a Rottweiler, that's not their training. I mean, they're trained for something else, for security usually is what they used them for. Security dogs are so big and vicious, but dog didn't seem vicious or nothing unless somebody got around the horses that didn't supposed to be there. And then he would get after. I mean, even a squirrel would come up running by the horses, that dog go ballistic. I mean, he'd go after that squirrel and chase it, and he never did catch nothing. But he'd try to catch it, make a bunch of noise. But we always safe with our horses. We didn't have to worry about nothing. They ain't gonna run off on us, But when we lost that dog, I kind of missed him on that part, because after that we had to tie our horses down. And the poor old dog, he lived about 6 years, and then he got cancer. And I don't know if it's from the meat bees or what, but he finally got cancer in his colon or something. And my dad wasn't going to treat him or nothing. He said he's going to die anyway with that cancer. So he died. And we had to get another dog to take us up there in the mountains with us. And we bought old Scooter, and little Queensland. And that dog turned out to be something else, man. That dog, no matter what I'd do, that dog would follow me. And, I mean, wherever you seen me, that dog was there. And I don't care where we went. If I get my pickup, he'd sneak in there one way or the other. He'd be in the back, or he'll sneak in the back seat where I wouldn't know he's there until I get going someplace. But everything I did, that dog would do. I mean, I remember one time at the mountains, we was up there, and these guys started laughing at me and this dog. Every time I'd go to the bathroom, I'd go over there by a tree. He'd go over there by the tree with me, and he'd go to the bathroom. And one night we all got all pretty well drunk. And next morning, man, I was all hung over. And so I walked away from camp a little bit and had to throw up. And here I am throwing up, and there's this stupid dog right next to me throwing up just like I was. And don't know why he was throwing up for, but same thing. He just did it right after me. But I mean, I can tell you many stories about that dog, which I will later on down these stories as we go. So, getting time, go home, rest my bod. So I'll see you guys not this coming Friday, this following Friday, because I'm doing these shows now only twice a month, because I got so much other stuff I'm doing I can't do it for every Friday there is. So I'm picking every other Friday. So until then, we'll see you down the road with more stories, and we'll have more guests on us later on down the road. We'll get we'll have the guitar or cornbread back and have him playing a few tunes for us and start enjoying the show. So we'll see you a week from today or 2 weeks from today. So adios.